adventurous. So welcome on board. If you begin your journey with Unit 10, trying to understand what blended learning is, why do I have to have this course repository on Brighton LMS just because I have to? No, there must be a reason to that. This is to ensure that all the courses, all programs that we offer at Unit 10 are pretty much standardized across from end to end. Why do I say end to end? Because sometimes you may be seeing that the students are going to be struggling because they're trying to find some of the courses materials are in Microsoft Teams, for example. Oh dear, my lecturer is pointing to the materials on Google Drive, but we are using Microsoft OneDrive, for example. Some of the resources are just being uploaded to the YouTube page. Why? Isn't it be better if we try to put them all together, compile them onto just one particular platform, which is LMS, Brighton. So that is something that we want to check. And also, part of the CAFEL itself, the CAFEL is the Teaching and Learning Center. Okay, the name is fancy, Center for Academic Advancement and Flexible Learning. So what do we do here at CAFEL? So who's who in CAFEL will be doing this and that? For the Teaching and Learning Unit, that one will be overlooking into the conventional program offering. Meaning, if you have Bachelor of Electrical Engineering, because I'm more comfortable to mention anything that is what I'm coming from, that one is conventional. So those will be handled by the Teaching and Learning Unit. But if you have heard before about micro-credentials, for example, that would be falling under the Digital Learning Unit. So that one is pretty much under a different unit, but still under the purview of CAFEL. So we are overlooking a lot of things, overseeing a lot of things happening. And I can say that it's even more exciting comes March later, which is next month. Why? Because there are more and plenty initiatives coming down, trickling down to us. And say, for example, if I say that we are going to offer more ODL courses or programs, so that would be the direction of the university. So how does the PAN or the policy going to be related to this? As already mentioned before, the PAN, maybe there's another one coming because it stops at 2025. So let me just go through more, yeah? Okay. Let's start with this. The adventure starts with the Depan 1.0, the integration. You can see that from here, you have phases, yeah? It's from 2011. Wow. We started off with Moodle in 2010. What is Moodle? Moodle is actually the platform that we used for LMS earlier before Brighton Days. Brighton Days, the LMS itself. From there, 2011 until 2015 is the first version of the PAN, the policy. So what did they do? They started off establishing the e-learning unit. So very similar to CAFEL, we do have our own unit. And then we also have our policies. And then this e-learning, I think we just adopt what we have, the DEPAN. And then we also have our own blended learning guideline. So that is something that I'm going to discuss on later, a bit later, after understanding what goes with DEPAN. Next, in 2013, 2014, they say that we have to strengthen the LMS and content development. So we talk about the LMS, it's very much easier to compare that. Remember, we had Moodle before Brighton. So we tend to put in all our resources and materials there. And then later on, we are going to decide on what kind of content or learning activities that we're going to supply on this LMS. Then from there, phase 3, 2015 and beyond during that time. Yeah. So they said that how about to optimize with integrations of BL or blended learning fully. So phase 3 started about 2015. And then here, I'm saying at Unit 10, we embark on the blended learning journey in 2016. We actually began with pilot courses. So blended learning, okay, if you are not very familiar with the term, when we say blended learning, it means that we are doing something like a mixer, okay, a blender. Why do we have to say blender? Because we have conventional, traditional way in the classroom, and then we make use of technology as well. So probably you are saying that you are integrating some technologies or tools into your classroom. So this is adoption of technology in terms of teaching and learning. We adopted blended learning. We started off with pilot courses. In 2016, for information, Unit 10 has this initiative, we call it the BOL initiative. Okay, so a lot of things were happening that time. We had our equal share of pilot implementation. We selected courses. Okay, not the people, but more of focusing on the courses. Who that we need to decide to teach blended learning in the classes. So there are not many. Okay, we started off with just a few, like 20, 25 pilot courses. And later on, as soon as it was stable enough, okay, let's look into what happens next. Okay, so we have things laid out, okay, whereby along with BOLD initiative, we also followed the PAN, which is a policy, and then we have the teaching and learning unit. Previously was known as teaching and learning center. And from there, we adopt this blended learning initiative. So from there, we have some what we call as the blended learning initiative owner, BLIO. So what is the responsibility for the initiative owner? He or she was the key person to actually responsible to extend the enculturation, okay, acculturation across the university. Started with the pilot courses, and then later on we decided on having blended learning agents. So this time around, it follows the lecturers. When was that again? That was just in 2019. But let me say something about the policies as it evolved. Phase 2, the PAN 2.0, they are looking into empowering the faculty, meaning we touch based with the faculty member, meaning you, all of you at Unit 10 to establish understanding. Why do we have to do blended learning all this while? Because it is going to be beneficial for our students as well as it creates engagement. They want to be excited and not simply blunt kind of teaching and learning experience. So we add more. But that one is going to be aligned to what we say as they call it differently. At UNITA, we call it blended learning. They call it blended learning as in not replacement. There's another one, support. Blended learning support. Okay, meaning outside of the classroom, you still have to extend some support with some blended learning materials, maybe some tools to encourage discussion on how to watch videos, something like that. But it is outside of the class hour. So that one is more of support kind of blended learning. And then there is much of having to say about 30% of the course, up to 60% of the whole week or the whole semester in that particular course, you are going to do it as blended learning. Okay, but it is essential that you understand these are just supplementary, not replacing. Because as soon as we started to replace some of the classes with some online synchronous materials, or just like how we did our Microsoft Teams classes, those are regarded as blended learning replacement. We call that substitute blended learning. If you were with me earlier, so 2019 was the time when we started off with blended learning substitution. So SBL, we call it here. So from there, what does it mean when it comes to substitution? It simply means that you are about to replace some of the course materials with online learning or with some blended learning activities allowed up to a certain extent with some ratios of 40% of content material. You need to design this 40% for your learning activities, and you are allowed to do 20% for the whole semester. It's going to be proportionate for assessment. That is substitute blended learning. But in order for you to do substitute blended learning, you have to adhere to certain guidelines such that you're not going to overburden the students with so much of things done in one semester. You still need to adhere to the student learning time or SLT. But that was 2019. So now let's look back into our policy here. There's so much things to share with you, but again, we were quite stable with our LMS. We have started with acculturation of the faculty members. We provided trainings, we provided workshops, we provided webinars, something like this, in order for you to grasp the understanding of what blended learning is. And from here, we need to optimize blended learning across programs. So it simply means that we are very happy to say that blended learning has touched most of our students now, whereby, in fact, if it were to be just, can I say this, a very ordinary course, yeah? You still use your LMS Brighton, that means you are already blended. So something like that. So you may not go to certain extent to reach out to the students. Hey, watch this video, do this and that, and you're going to be assessed online, and you're going to be doing or performing reflection after the activities, flipped classroom. So that is the hidden blended learning activities that you may not realize until today. You have done that, but the formal ways to do things, it must be structured and it must be designed carefully because of the students' learning time. So this one, it is more of enhancing how we go beyond 2016. Remember that 2016, we started off with our LMS, then we started off with agents, and then we have ambassador, okay, not quite yet, but then it seems like everyone has been doing blended learning throughout the whole campus. Okay, so looking into that, what happens next is that the very critical thing to see this would be what happens beyond 2016. We started picking up what happened to become of the policy. It started in 2011 and now 2016. We started off with blended learning and now is the refining, okay, this particular 2.0 implementation. So it sees about the e-learning institutional wise, and then it also mentions specifically, in fact, I want to just touch something on the accessibility here. It says that as much as possible, if we are trying to embark on digital learning resources, we have to be very clear about how things are going to be. Why? Because with the amount of time, the retention period for a student now is considered, the focus, yeah, is going to be very, very slight or little less than the students before. The younger generations now, they are digital citizens, digital natives. That's how you look into them. Some of them might be dyslexic. Some of them may have problems with accessing devices, meaning accessibility here is not to be mistaken as access to the device, access to the internet. It is more of how you provide the learning materials suiting to all, everyone. So it means that you are to look into inclusivity, but yet your resources are going to be diverse. That is something that is needed here as termed as accessibility. So everyone will have access, but then say, for example, the font size here is not very much accommodating. You might want to increase the font size for those who are having some difficulties in reading the slides better, because this is accessibility. So if you're an iPhone user, you should know better because you also have some accessibility kind of setting. It's the same case, okay? Not access to the infrastructure, not access to the information. It's more of accessibility when it comes to those who are unprivileged, okay? Looking into this strategic branding, so you have already gone through this. One thing for sure, lifelong learning culture is now being mentioned in this 2.0 policy. And that's the reason why from 2019 onwards, Uniten has already grasped this particular initiative, talking about we need to have micro-credentials, we need to have massive open online courses, we need to have open distance learning or ODL, simply because we're talking about reaching out to the people outside of campus. You don't have to be in the I mean, these both campuses, yeah, in Putrajaya and Azam Shah anymore. This one can be just reaching out via our platforms. Okay, for information, Uni10 has this open learning platform for MC, micro credentials, and we were looking to that as well. And pretty much more focusing on ODL offerings starting this year. So that is actually the direction of this year for CAFEL to see. So lifelong learning culture. So it means that we do have a problem sometimes when we are very restricted to see that how students are like nowadays. They often watch TikToks, they often watch YouTube videos, explainer video, kind of thing. So it's just a matter of 5 minutes to 10 minutes, and then they acquire some sort of competency. So that kind of skill, we're seeing that um, nowadays, through formal education, okay, they've already gone through the formal education. Say, for example, in Malaysia's context, we do have school leavers with SPM level, for example. So they are thinking about, should I stop learning or should I enroll myself into the university? So this is actually the dilemma that we have when it comes to SPM leavers. Are they going to enter the university? There's a declining rate, okay, for the students or the school leavers to enter the universities or colleges to further their studies, simply because they feel that they want to be out of the system. They feel that they want to have more flexible education. So this is the time where this policy is being revised now. We are expecting the PAN 3.0 maybe 2025 onwards. Okay, because this is the year that they are revising everything. So to talk about that, we are pretty much looking into, okay, this one is done. Um, okay, so when we talk about these students or the learners, they are not going to be considering, okay, why come to Uni 10? Why do I have to go to IPTA, for example, when it comes to, I need to be there, enrolled in the course or the program for 5 years, for example, foundation plus 4 years for engineering program, for example. I have to be dedicated there. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough funding to say. How about taking small chunks at one time, and then still I have competencies. I have badges. Okay, I have this something like a scout kind of digital badges that I can show off on LinkedIn. So isn't that beneficial to them? So we are talking about these tiny, tiny chunks of competency level kind of courses and programs for them to collect. And then at the later end of the day, later stage, they're going to be able to do or perform credit transfers, or maybe they can have stackable degree. There are many more that we can explore. And Uni10 is also looking to that. Not only that, I have to teach this program and here in campus. No, you have a lot of other things you can venture into, and then you are going to reach out to the people outside there who doesn't believe in having a structured program, like a conventional program. So we are talking about expansion. So this is the thing. 2020 was a time when the pandemic arrived, and we didn't have so much of problem transiting from conventional teaching in classroom and then going all out to digital learning. 100%. We do not meet our students during that time because simply that we have already trained you so much on having digital platforms. You know how to go about with the digital tools and many more. So this is very interesting to see. The expansion phase during this time, we understood that we have already embarked on this for information. It says here minimum 15 MOOCs per university, but we have more. During that time, we started off with some micro credentials rather than MOOC, because when we say MOOC, that means it is implying that it is free of charge. Okay, but then as a private university, as a GLU university, we did not go into that definition. So our MOOC is still pretty much having to pay for. Okay, and then we understood that there was one time ago that our IT department, they have actually upgraded our infrastructure with the internet speed. And they say that it is of a campus-wide Wi-Fi coverage. So that's something worth pondering. So if you do have an ITM as a personnel here, you might be thinking that, do you think that this is so much already been achieved? This is not just a sole problem not soul searching, yeah, a soul problem at Unit 10. But we understand that sometimes we did have this intermittent kind of connectivity. Sometimes the Wi-Fi dropped out of a sudden, or maybe there is a lacking of connectivity across the accommodation, or maybe at certain level of the offices, we still have some issues or technical issues with the Wi-Fi coverage. But already that you have seen our classrooms that the ITMS had done a lot of improvement, installing a dedicated Wi-Fi access point to each and every single classroom. So we're talking about service upgrade, and then they're looking to maintenance of the softwares and many more. Infrastructure wise, we are capable to implement e-learning or digital learning okay, to a certain extent. We are going all out, we can say that, but again, we might have limitations. So we're talking about infrastructure. It must be a stable internet, just like how we are having our Microsoft Teams webinar today. I couldn't imagine if suddenly the Wi-Fi dropped. Okay, touch wood, there's no wood here. Touch wood if we have a problem with the Wi-Fi connection. So everything seems to be seamless, and we're really dependent on so much on this Wi-Fi coverage. Even the students are looking to that. On top of that, we are really proud to say that our faculty development here, KFL has done lots of trainings and webinars like this to make sure that you are acquainted with, right? Acquainted with the latest technology as well as the latest development happening outside, as well as Unit 10 progress. So we always keep you updated, like this webinar. So that is actually part of the intention. Where do we go now after having established this blended learning initiative? Where do we go further? What will be the direction of the university? So you have to wait until the VC's aspiration day, which is going to be next Monday, 24th of February, when perhaps he's going to deliver his speech on the new directions of Unit 10 initiative. Okay, it's supposed to be yesterday anyway. So this webinar is to do something to give you an interest, or giving you an idea of how we are going about with a digital offering, more on digital offering, but not letting go of our conventional program. So that is actually the intention. Okay. All right. So the rest are just very, very much policy thingy. Okay. So let's look into what's next. A few more slides until we go to our real BL discussion. We say that expanding blended learning to 70% of courses. So we are glad to say that most of you have already reached this blended learning level 2, whereby you have enhanced your courses with some learning activities and tools and approaches. Okay, so why do I say approaches and digital tools? So that one would be part of the blended learning implementation parameters. So that is very, very useful for us to know what matters when we try to deliver our courses. Okay, don't worry about the internet speed. So that one will be handled by a different unit. Faculty development, by now, 2025, what got me worried was that the statement here is 100% of lecturers are trained in basic e-learning. So if you are here with me, you have already passed this. Why? Because it seems like you are digitally literate person. Okay, if you're not digital native, okay, I'm sure that you are. If you're my age, I believe that we have by force to go with the flow. Okay, we have to take up this technology. We have to understand how it goes. Worry not. So we are here to train you with all the digital tools and technology. And of course, not only that, we are talking about blended learning. It is much more than that. As we are approaching IR 5.0 soon, we're talking about AI, we're talking about machine learning and many more. So that would be also critical when it comes to using or adopting these technologies into our courses. So this is very fun because AI in teaching and learning, that will be like a superpower for each and every single lecturer when it comes to using the appropriate tool. Why do I say appropriate tool? Because sometimes it's going to be misleading. Um, you use ChatGPT, for example. Students love to use ChatGPT, but they are unguided. So it must be properly trained. It must be properly disseminated to the students on how to handle this correctly. If you use it this way, it's going to reveal a different outcome and many more. So it needs to be guided. So that is part of the adventure, is part of the webinar series or maybe workshop series coming from CAFEL from now onwards. We are now in the third year, I believe, for AI in education. So it's pretty much going to be a household item. Can I say that? All right. Now, the only thing that we might be thinking about will be the hassle of having to reach out to the people outside of the campus. Like I already mentioned just now, we're talking about blended learning with a conventional program, but we're also talking about how much digital learning courses are we going to be able to offer in 1 year? For example, this year, 2025, we're expecting more, but of course, we're going to have to fine tune, we have to do market survey, we have to understand what the industry wants, what would be the professional workers want, and also what would be the criteria that attracts the people to come and learn from Uniten. So we are not that new to micro-credentials and ODL, yeah? It's just that sometimes we are having hiccups here and there. We're having problems because of the development of the courses that's taking too long. But I trust it with the AI coming into becoming a productivity tool. So that should be expediting or can we say it speeds up the whole process of the course development. And this is something that we are looking and anticipating in the next near future. So it says here 2025, wow, minimum 30 MOOCs. How many MOOCs do we have right now? About 20. So this is very, very much challenging because of the process of completing one micro-credential course, for example, and even a one full-fledged program like ODL that requires patience, requires hard work, and also great effort for all the lecturers to come together and combine strength to manage and also deliver up to the expectations of what makes an ODL program becoming saleable. So that is pretty much the difficulties, but we are together in this, so nothing to worry about. And here we are, there. With the AI tools, etc., we are talking about it is now something that is worth imagining. Why do I say imagining? Simply because with AI tools and machine learning, we are talking about analytics. So when we say about analytics, our Brighton LMS would be able to provide personalized feedback, personalized learning path, personalized learning materials for all our students, be it conventional or maybe for the digital courses. So this is very interesting for us to catch up. When I say catching up, that means that we have to go further. Why? Because we are going to see something coming from our LMS course page, whereby we have reports to look into. Interactive tools, okay, some of you have some favorite tools for you to use in your course page. I understand that fully. For information, Uniten has subscribed to some licenses. We have Padlets, we have Mentimeter, we have Genially. Once upon a time, we had Panopto. And of course, you can use Microsoft Teams to perform or conduct your classes like now. So that would be interactive. Interactivity is very fun to say. Sometimes it's very subjective. I'm interactive with you. No, I'm just talking to you because there's no two-way bi-directional communication happening. I'm saying that this is just a conversation. The conversation should be two-way or bi-directional. But of course, I'm going to ask you later if you need any justifications or you need to ask more. Mobile learning. There's something about mobile learning now. When it comes to mobile learning, it seems like everyone carries just a device. No longer do you need a laptop to access a course page, but only from a smartphone, you can always start to learn. So this is something very, very catchy because the need to design a small bite content and materials in for this screen. So there's something that you need to know about mobile learning as well, but it's of a different story. Today, we are going to discuss blended learning at Unit 10 and how far we have gone through. So this will be the future direction of Unit 10 blended learning. We are still waiting for the depan policy to be somehow laid out soon, based on the feedback coming from the universities on how they've implemented the blended learning at their university level, how we can enhance engagement and also to create interest. It's more of how you conduct your classes. You can see that most of the time we are always like a lecturer-centered kind of thingy, because we thought that the lecturer must be the center of attraction. The lecturer must do all the work. No, not necessarily. You can become a facilitator nowadays, that you are just going to facilitate what happens in your classes. I'm telling you that if you only have 1 hour class or discussion will not be very much interesting, because doing activities with the students would be something that's going to last, okay, in their memory. Or when we say that if they learn by doing themselves, that is going to be remarkable when it comes to the engagement as well as the amount of retention. So we talk about retention period. If you do more, then you gain more. So something like that. And also on how we can actually improve the outcomes coming from our pedagogy. So we say pedagogy is how we technically saying approach the students. Some of them are very natural. When they come to class, they start to speak and then they're going to be just listening to you. Not necessarily. Some lecturers do struggle when it comes to first, I have to start the class with the definition and the concept and the introduction. Yeah. Next, I'm going to write down the steps to this and that. Some people are very systematic. You can do that. You become like a robot. It's just fine. But there are approaches, pedagogies for you to engage the students. You might have heard about active learning. You have heard about problem-based learning and many more. So those are pretty much under the same umbrella of blended learning. Okay, so when I say that, it's pretty much of you combined with the tools and also becoming the facilitator in your classroom. So that is what we are going to in terms of the direction. Okay, so it's pretty much you talking in the class, like students wouldn't be enjoying. Don't forget to ask feedback. And remember, when we talk about classes going on, it's not just about you, it's about them. It's about the students. So this is something that I need to also instill, okay, as a reminder to myself as well when it comes to talking too much. Okay, so after all, this is the webinar on caffeinated conversations. So it's already 12 minutes after 11. So I'm going to let you ask should you have any questions so that I can enjoy my coffee now. Yeah. Do you have any question? Okay, some are very, very familiar people here. We have Dr. Vivian, we have Dr. Abbas, okay. Newbies, Dr. Dr. Shamini, thank you for making some time. We have Miss Amina, okay, from Kafel. Dr. Ian, yes. Dr. Abod, how are you today? Dr. Chuan Ling, Dr. To, right? So while you are here, hello.
Hello.
Hello,
Hi.
okay.
I want to
Hi,
ask.
Dr. To, hi.
Hi.
Yeah,
Just now I
remember I
heard,
said that.
sorry, just now I heard you mention that we have subscribed to Mentimeter, is it? So how can I
Yes, yes,
use it?
exactly. Okay, so we do offer some limited subscription license to Mentimeter. But then this year we are about to have somewhat like a distributed and license to provide to all our lecturers, Dr. To. So somehow we are going to use Kafel account instead of a personal lecturer's account. So we'll keep you posted, Dr. To. You're talking
Okay.
about Mentimeter, right?
Yes,
Mm-mm.
because now they're
Yes.
very strict. I already over the
Yes,
free
understood that you
limit.
have to keep on. Yeah.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
suddenly heard you mention this. So then I was
Yes, yes,
interested
yes.
to register.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Never mind. Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Okay. Thank you, Toto. So we plan to have I mean we need to celebrate all of you who are really using Mentimeter so that we want to leverage on the centralized license basically. Okay. Previously it is just more of a personal lecturer's subscription. Okay, but under institutional. Okay, so let me hide this Telegram, Violet. Yep. Okay. Yes, Dr. Abud, anything?
Okay, Assalamualaikum, Dr. Jana and all.
Waalaikumsalam.
Okay, maybe I have a bit not apa silly question
Not
lah.
clear. Ah, ah.
Okay, as we are macam kita beginner in the academic line, so ada banyak benda yang kita tak familiar kan. So
Betul, betul.
I suka term itu teaching by doing ya. It's very
Yeah,
nice the term, but
yeah,
which is means that is more to have interaction rather than to have one way lah. But
betul.
there are a couple of apps like Padlet of
Uh-huh.
software that can
Yeah.
help us to reach out that goal. Uh,
Hmm.
but now, Dr. Jana, you mentioned others beside the Padlet. I'm using Padlet in my Brighton.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm trying my best to have self-learning, how
Mm-hmm.
to explore more and utilize the features as much as possible. I'm attending some Padlet workshops. They have their own promotion to call for. But
Mm-mm.
what other apps or what other software or programs that can help out? And based on the courses, is there specific programs are more fit to certain courses rather than others? Because we have uh, engineering courses, we have management courses, and we have IT courses. So based on this package of programs that they're available for us to be utilized. Okay, is there any specific programs that may match with certain types of program rather than to the rest to be recommended for us, like we're coming from pedang apa management, for example?
Management. Okay.
Mm.
So, thank you, Dr. Abud, for your question. So, if I were to rephrase so I understand correctly, okay, Dr. Abud, um, you are asking for tools that would
Yeah,
be beneficial to management kind of programs.
management courses. Yes, yes.
Management courses. So the thing is that if I were to recommend some of the tools, sometimes you need your own sweet time to explore whether or not you can find meaning. Because it's just like soul searching. So somehow you said that you have already used Padlet in your course. So I believe it to be management. Is it fitted for me to say you are going to offer case studies for management, Dr.
Yeah,
Abud?
betul, betul, betul.
Betul, ya? Okay, if you do have case
One of
studies,
the elements. Yes, correct.
yes. So case studies would be interesting if you use, okay, I'm saying that adopt one favorite tool. If you're familiar
Mm,
with Padlet, then you use Padlet. So for
mm,
example, if you use Padlet, let me check on my Padlet first because you're talking about that. It's okay. We're just having a conversation anyway. All right.
mm.
So Padlet, we have a lot of things. In fact, they are now powered by AI. Okay.
Yeah,
So one
yes,
thing for
correct.
sure is very nice to have that. So let's know recommending this page now. Okay, let's look into do my gallery. We have some gallery. I'll go to my home, basically made by me. Okay, so say for example, I have this recent one.
Mm.
Um, can you see that?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
it's a case study. It's a case study because this one is nothing from the textbook. Oh, sorry about this. Yeah, it's not very accessible because the font is not there. The choice of Padlet, how you want to use it and force it to become a case study. Yeah, for example, I
Mm.
post one question. So Dr. Abud can just say, read this article. You are given this and that. Now I want you to concentrate in giving your opinions. So I'm just posting two questions here. I'm saying that Moore's law is there's something, a theory, okay, when I'm
Okay.
teaching this computer organization. So what do you think after reading or after our discussion in class, I carry on, bring this discussion outside the classroom. Remember, this is blended learning, so they can do so they throw in their ideas.
Um.
Okay, so that here we have Tariq, we have Hashimi talking about that they're understanding. So remember, if it to be case study, you can put it this way. You can put it as in, there are many ways for you to do this. For Padlet, there are features. Okay, you
Very
have
rich, very
appearance.
rich.
Yes, yes. You have format. You can use something else. Okay, so if it were to be mine is grid mode. You can use streaming. You can stream. Okay, you can use canvas. You can use a lot of things. Okay, so meaning you can actually force your layout to suit case studies. So this is actually part of a case study. The thing is that
Mm.
I've thrown in my hypothesis saying that, do you think, students, do you still think that Moore's law, okay, according to this concept, it is still applicable today? Because that was some time ago, decades ago. Is it still fulfilling? Is it still there? So we
Mm.
encourage the students to think about it. So you are going to place everything there. So you are going to somewhat put a layout there, yeah? All right.
Okay,
Okay, so this is
nice.
according to them. You can do this. Okay, I'm saying that. Is my hypothesis saying that Moore's law is outdated? What do you say about it? What say you? Something like that. So they're going to encourage them to do some critical thinking, because case study is very wonderful. When it comes to different opinions, this will actually instill the negotiation skill on how to put your opinions without, I mean, you know, without others feeling remorse or whatever, right? Okay, we
Yep.
need to have, yes, to display the skills, go by the fact, but sometimes facts do hurt some other people's feeling. So so how do you want them to yeah, display their thoughts and ideas? Case studies, Padlet is nice. You can do that. We are subscribed to this. You have this, right, Dr. Abot?
Yep, I have it.
Okay, you
Yes.
can always come and knock on my door if you need more help when it comes to case studies with Padlet. Yeah.
Thank you.
So
Thank you,
if you're
Diana.
okay, so okay, I think a word of there's something when it comes to tools. If you feel that you are familiar with Padlet, you can always go explore more, and then it's just facilitate the students and then also guide them at least. Okay, case
Okay.
studies works well. Notes can be also be included here. There are many more. Okay, they're very much like a repository. You can do that as well.
Mm.
Okay, where am I?
Thank you so
Okay,
much. Thank you so much,
no
Diana.
problem. Okay, no problem. Okay, there are many. Hmm. Can look into it. Okay, ice breaking activity. Uh, do compare and contrast. There are many ways for you to do this. There's a lot. They come up with ideas and they have to put their facts, and then we are going to debate. Okay, you can do that in class, right?
Actually, Padlet also is creating this class plan as well, and it can create activities for the class, for the students,
For sure.
based on
Yeah.
the topics. Yes.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Thank you so
Okay.
much, Diana.
Okay.
Thank you.
No problem, Dr. Abbott. Yeah. Okay,
Mm.
so coming back to our discussion, thank you for your question. If you have any questions on tools, feel free to buzz me. Okay, my email is johanna@unit10.edu.my. But it's pretty much wanting to share with you. These would be the blended learning levels that I've already talked about, the policy alignment to Unit 10 standards. So we came out with our own levels because it's not being mentioned, okay, in the national e-learning policy on how we go about the blended learning. So totally it was the support blended learning, supportive. So whereby if you are just the first timer, you use your Brighton page, that is actually level 1, this one. And then if you are like Dr. Abod and also Dr. To, you were using Mentimeter and Padlet, you are already here in category 2, level 2, and pretty much well versed with your course page, and then you know what to make do with the activities and the assessment. And if you decide that you want to go further and explore more, you can be creative enough to start with level 3, which is flipped teaching and learning, flipped classroom, basically, but a lot of time will be invested. I call it invested rather than wasted, yeah? Invested in preparation. Why? Because you need to prep the students well before coming to class, where your class in the lecture hall or in your lecture room becoming a stage for discussion. No teaching, plain discussion, plain debate, You can do drama if you want to. You can make a play. So there are a lot of things adventurous for you to do at if you are choosing flip teaching and learning activity. Okay, pre-class material is a must. You must have someone like a self-instructional write up, and we call it instruction. First, student, watch this video. I expect you to watch this video before I meet you in class. So it must be written clearly. List your expectation of the students. Then only when you come to class, okay, people, let's people. Okay, everyone, let's try to discuss about 20 minutes of what you have already gotten from the video and what will be your takeaway from the video. So let's do something about it. So you need to build and guide them on the discussion. And at the end of the day, you're going to simplify things by just recapping. Have a summary or maybe just have a short quiz. So that is flip teaching and learning level 3. Once you have leveled up to enhanced learning. And then you can opt for adaptive learning. This adaptive can be very misleading because adaptive often calls for an automated analytics kind or oriented LMS. But currently we don't have that, but it's more of a personalized, differentiated learning because there's no one size fit all everyone in one classroom. Some students are going to be very, very diligent and then they have already done everything and then they seem to understand everything. So that is the brighten, not brighten, the brighter students that you have smart students. And then you also have some learners who are keen to go through each and every materials and then expecting remedial. Why do I say remedial? They're not too bad in class. It's just that they need some, um, worksheets or maybe some practices, exercise. So they learn differently. The reason why we talk about differentiated learning. So this learning path, we have to design accordingly. The fast people, the fast learners will be completing it in no time. But the slow learners, they're not really slow. They just, they need more time. Okay, more time to digest the material. So give them time, read this article. What do you think about this? And then do some, okay, just a simple exercise or an assessment, a quiz will do to check on their understanding. Give them some time. So that's how we look into adaptive learning. And of course, all of the faculty members, you are expected to be at enhanced learning. Know how to use your Brighton, know how to use tools. If you have a favorite one, by all means, go with that. Padlet, Dr. Apo, Dr. Apo, unit Mentimeter, something that we are very comfortable with. Yeah, I don't ask you to be so adventurous. I want to use Kahoot. I want to use quizzes. I want to use Padlet. I want to use everything. No, it's going to be cluttering your course page. And students are not going to be very comfortable when you start approaching them. Let's do Kahoot today. What? Kahoot? Tomorrow, unannounced. Let's do Padlet today. So they don't like that. So you need to become a strategist. You need to be able to uh, introduce a few familiar tools when it comes to your teaching throughout the semester. We don't want to have so much of a variety when it comes to blended learning tools. So this is very true coming from experience, let alone that I'm using Brighton. I also use Google Drive. You are also using Microsoft Teams. So there's so many things for the students to use. Why not just have Brighton LMS for one-stop center? Okay, so you can actually embed some codes going to your Brighton page. So you can do that. Okay, so I think that is what I want to share with you. Nothing much. Okay, so this one we do have we say guideline. Okay, I can share with you on the chat later. So you just if you're a bit rusty on your blended learning levels, but it's pretty much talking about all of us are actually a living blended learning practitioner by now. If you are new, welcome on board. And this would be the one which is expected for your class, blended learning levels, Brighton LMS, some tools. Don't do too much. Okay, it's going to be like a burden to you. Take one thing at one time. Okay, and also to wrap things up, we have already gone through the policy, the national policy on e-learning, and the reason why we adopt blended learnings all this while, and also the reason why we encourage participation from students using these different educational tools, and we're using the course page on Brighton LMS, and how we interact with Microsoft Teams. So those are actually, you are doing it already. So I believe that um, you are not supposed to be afraid of the technology. Go with the flow. Should you need help, we are always here to entertain you. So there you go. So we are ending in 1 minute. So should you have any questions, feel free to post on the chat section. Okay, so I believe I have something there, maybe, but okay. So you've got attendance here. And for information, starting this year, we are going to formalize our CPD hours. So 1 hour webinar, you're going to be given 1 hour point for the CPD. Okay, so if it to be a 1 day workshop, then you're going to be eligible for 8 hours CPD points. Yep. Okay, so till then, I'll be seeing you again on the next adventure, another coffee talk. But that coffee talk will be in Ramadan. So I don't expect to have this. Okay, remind me. Okay, during Ramadan, we don't have any coffee talk, but the term that is still macchiato tinggi. Yeah. Okay, so till then, thank you very much all for still being here with me till the end. I'll see you when I see you. Assalamualaikum. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. J.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Dr. Diana. Assalamualaikum.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Dr. Jana.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Doctor.
dear. Thank you. Back again.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.